Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Wherever you are watching us from, we want to say thank you. We want to say we appreciate you tuning in with us. We appreciate you being here. And if it had not been for you, if you coming in and sitting with us, we would have a show, but no one would be here. So we're happy that you have chosen to step in and join us today. My name is Leslie Montgomery, and this is LKM Kingdom Living, Leslie's Lessons Learned. And we want to say this morning, if you looked in the mirror, where's my mirror? I got my mirror. I ain't forget it. If you looked in the mirror and you said, is life worth living? Well, I want to tell you today, life is worth living. I want to tell you today that if you're here and you're watching, it's because you woke up this morning. He touched you with the finger of love and he woke you up this morning. And I applaud the fact that you are here. I celebrate you today and the fact that you're here. I'm so excited that you're here to join us today. I cannot tell you how excited I am that while you're contemplating and you're thinking whether your life is worth living, that I want you to know it is, because the Creator, the Yah, uh, Elohim, I was going to say something else. Elohim has caused you to be here today. Now, who is Elohim? Elohim is what so many call God. God is his title. Elohim is his name. And you hear me say Elohim, you might hear me say Yeshua HaMashiach, which is Jesus Christ. And I don't want you to be offended. I want you to know that I just choose to call him by his name. So as I said, good morning, greetings from LKM. Leslie's Lessons Learned. I'm just so excited for you to be here today. I want to say good morning, Michelle, and anyone else that's listening. But there's a couple of things I want you to do before we go any further. I want you to say, I choose to live. That's what I want you to say. I want you to say, I choose to live. Then after that, I was listening to something the other day, and I began to say, you know what? I'm not afraid of me. Fear causes you to be afraid of moving forward. And we say it's what somebody else says or done, but in actuality, we're afraid to move forward because we're not sure who we are. And because we feel that what they have said and what they have done makes us feel like we can't move forward. And I begin to look at myself in the mirror and say, I'm not afraid of you, Leslie. We're going somewhere and we're going to do what we need to do. So I want you to be encouraged today. And I want you to be really always, when you look in the mirror, I want you to say to yourself, I don't want you to say, is life worth living? I want you to say that you choose to live. And I have a short video while the team over here is getting themselves together that I'm going to play. Oh, wait a minute. She's talking. This is.
Emotionally, physically, if I forgive them, I'm giving them a pass. No. Forgiveness is not a pass. Forgiveness does not diminish the wrong done against you. The wrong done against you is still wrong, and it will be wrong in God's eyes until they repent. Until the people that have hurt you repent, God won't forget it, will not forget it or forgive it. Your understanding of forgiveness is when you release them and no longer seek their hurt and seek revenge, you are not diminishing or lessening the wrong done against you. You're not saying they didn't do anything wrong. No, you're not. Forgiveness is not excusing. Forgiveness is not calling a truce. Forgiveness is you look at it face to face. You confront all of the stuff, the junk that has happened to you, and you say, you know what? I release everything that has happened to me to God's justice. You know why people have a hard time forgiving? Because they think, well,
So I wanted to play that since our topic is still on forgiveness, and there's so many aspects to forgiveness. As you see, we've been on this topic since March, and I never thought that I would be on the same topic this long. But I'm just so grateful that through the process of it, I'm learning a lot. And it's not just you learning, but I'm learning. Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'm learning how to really forgive. I'm learning how to love past what I feel, to love past where I'm at in my life. A lot of times, like I said, because of what somebody says, it paralyzes us. And the fear is not what they say, is how it makes you feel. So we have to get over our feelings. We have to get over those areas that make us feel like we can't go on because of shame, because of disappointment, because of embarrassment, what somebody's going to think, what somebody's going to say. Well, we have to live past all that and continue to do our assignment. Do you know you have an assignment? Do you know that every morning you wake up, you're not just waking up because you want to wake up, you're waking up because you have been given an assignment for the day. And that assignment may not seem like much because of the way you're looking at it. But if you wake up, there's a plan for your life and there's a purpose. And I always say there's a plan, there's a purpose, and there's another plan. I want you to know that your purpose and your destiny causes you to go beyond how you feel and get to where you need to get to. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. And I want to say good morning to Team Charles. Uh, um, Wanda was not able to be with us this morning, so we're going to keep it rolling. We're going to keep it going. So I want to say, hey, y'all. Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all all right over there? Y'all got it together now?
We're good.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Wake up, worship, water, workout, win. That's how
I
we
know
start.
that's right. You can say that one again.
Oh yeah. Wake up, worship, water, workout, win. I'm
All
Rick.
right. I
And
got
I'm
my water.
Oh,
Huh?
I'm saying I'm Rick
and I'm Tiff, and
and
we're
with Teen
Teen
Childs.
Childs.
We gotta start that out. That's
That's,
what puts us in sync.
I know. I don't. You about to get in trouble talking before you put that out there.
You have
So
your water.
good morning. Good morning. I want you guys just tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Okay, so I'm Rick Childs. I'm a health renewal coach, a speaker, and the Air Fry King. Uh, One of the things that resonates with me when we talk about forgiveness, and it's a continual thing that we're going to talk about. When you ask someone for forgiveness, really what you're doing is you're going to God. You're asking God, because when you have done something to ask for forgiveness, that means you have sinned against God. That means you have done something to one of His children that requires you to ask for forgiveness. And sometimes I don't think we think about that. We think we're going to the individual and we're asking for forgiveness for them, but really you need to look at them as you see God within them, because what you have done to ask for forgiveness is a sin, whether you understand it or not. Really break it down and look at it from that standpoint, and I think it will become even more important for you to ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Miss Tiff, Lady Tiff.
I'm just
I'm sorry, I
Tiffany.
forgot to pass the spoon back
You
over.
gotta pass the spoon.
I
Oh
forgot to
gosh,
pass the
You
y'all
know
spoon.
see
we
we
have to
got the
use that
spoon
spoon.
going on today. It's
Lord.
gonna be a good one.
I'm just Tiffany today. That's it. That's it. That's all.
She's always my flamingo queen. Always.
Okay, okay.
Always.
And you're gonna stop playing today, okay? You're
Man.
gonna stop playing.
Always.
So, the topic is where would we be without forgiveness? And since you was opening up with that wonderful tip right there, why don't you kind of just dive into that for a minute? Let us start there.
Okay, yeah. So one of the things that I realized, and it's two words that God gave me actually a couple of days ago, which was manage and maneuver. And for the people that hear those two words, uh, if you know the definition, it applies in certain ways. So one of the things I realized, and I've heard Tiff say it, several times on different platforms that 10 years of our marriage was HELL for her. And what I understood, because one, I'll be honest with you, my emotions, I take offense to that because I was part of that 10 years. So,
Mhm.
but then I had to stop and realize something, that those 10 years those 10 years for me, I did a lot of maneuvering. So what that means is, as a matter of fact, I love words because words have power, but I also love to dive into the definition so that it's clear for how I'm presenting it and other people may receive it. So to maneuver, it's a noun, a movement or series of moves requiring skill and care. And if you go to the other definition, a large scale military exercise of troops, warships, and other forces. So remember that second one because missions is important in our journey. And then manage, which is a verb, be in charge of a company, establishment, or undertaking, administer, or run. And similar words would be in charge, run, be ahead, direct, preside over, lead. So the reason why I say maneuver and manage, because of my temperament and because of Tiff's temperament, I had to maneuver her strong temperament. Her temperament has a lot of control in it, has a lot of well, not well, I guess I don't know if it's a new word, unasking. You know what I mean?
I
Don't miss nothing. So that is the part that I had to maneuver because of my temperament. Because of my temperament, being an introvert, a lot of times, all the time, I want peace. I want nice, smooth sailing. I want clear waters. I don't want any clouds. I don't want it, I don't want a storm.
Would you say still waters run deep?
Oh, most definitely. So, because of our temperaments and because of her strong temperament, and it's not even just her temperament, it's her default. But there's another thing I'm gonna share, and I've shared it before, is how she was raised or how she was taught. Her father, who, and like I said, he did what he felt at the time was right, and I'm not saying that it was wrong. He taught her to be a knight and not a damsel in distress. So let me explain that. He taught her to be strong and to be able to take care of herself and to do the things that a man should do when he comes into her life. But not, doing that and understanding that, what the revelation came to me was that's some of the things that I'm going against. So it had to be some rework. But it's not only rework for her, it was rework for me. So I had to go from maneuver to manage. So the first 10 years I maneuvered. The next 6, which will be 16 years, September 23rd, plug. So I'm managing, I'm leading, I'm covering, I'm presiding, I'm being who God created me to be. So I'm managing her temperament. I'm managing our life and the things that we do together. So I don't know. I saw the spoon go up a couple of times. So
It went
I knew
up.
those 2
It
words
go
would
up.
get her up. And when she smiles extra hard, that means she got something, y'all. Get ready now.
You're going to intervene and kind of
Most definitely.
help you with what you've already said.
Go ahead, baby. Get it.
I don't have anything to say. Say no. Let me stop.
let me say this before she go.
Sir,
hey, y'all.
I had a spoon.
I'm sorry.
I have the spoon. So when I had a spoon,
she just managed me.
I'm the one that
Yeah.
So when Rick broke that down, and I sat and I listened to it, and it was 100% true. It was so true. It was spot on. And yes, Dad did prepare me to function outside of his home. If there wasn't a man in my life. Okay. So I totally agree that he did, like I was like a knight. And this dysfunction in that was there wasn't the part to bring in the Rick called it the damsel in distress part. So there wasn't a balance or like a harmony in that, and I did bring that into the marriage. But not just the marriage. I looking back, I brought that into all of my relationships. So so that is the one piece that I wanted to share.
Mhm.
And it was something else you said, but I forgot what it was. So when
So
it comes back,
before you go any further, I think about my father. He was in the military, retired military um, staff sergeant, and he ran his house like that. And one of the things that I used to could never figure out where it came from was that the man's voice always made me submit, and I couldn't figure out where that came from. And one day I was taking some clothes out to dry, and the father started ministering to me. He said, "You know where it came from?" I was like, "No, but I'm trying to figure it out." And he said, "That's the way you was raised." And I thought about that when you was talking about how you were raised. And one of the things that my father said, he didn't just say it, but my father said was that he never worried about me because he knew I was always going to take care of myself. But he trained me that way. Even though he was a drill sergeant and we get in trouble, he lined us up like soldiers and, all that stuff, he was hard on us. But, and then as, my husband had told my mother-in-law that, oh, he never worried about anything because he knew I was going to take care of it. That thing hurt me for years, I promise you. And Apostle was talking, or Jones was talking about it one day, but he began to show the balance in that, how it's just that we work together, not one doing everything. We should be enhancing each other. And that thing freed me so, because I was so upset the fact that he was relying on me to take care of us. And that's how I looked at it. And he was, as I tell my story, you'll see that he felt like it was always somebody else's responsibility to take care of him. So I had to ask for forgiveness from that. I had to ask the Father to forgive me. I had to let it go. I had to release it. And that's one thing that we have to learn how to do as couples, as people, is to let things go, to forgive. Gotta forgive. We can forgive, but if we still got it in the back of our minds and we still festering on it, then there's some area of forgiveness that has not taken place. I had to release it. I couldn't fester over it. I couldn't allow it to get me in the wrong mood when I heard it anymore. Because when he passed away, I was like, excuse my words, I was like, this nigga left me with all this, left everything undone. That's how I felt. Excuse me, y'all. And
my auntie.
Hey, hey, if you can't be real, you can't be.
You
so
already know how I feel.
Uh, oh, you got your twin over here. She gonna drop something sooner or later. Oh, I'm
Sure.
sorry, y'all.
You don't
I'm
have the
sorry.
mic.
I'm sorry.
You don't have the spoon.
look, Wanda said she thought you was gonna hit him with it.
Oh no.
Yeah, way she be swinging that.
I probably need a smaller spoon. This
Yeah.
is kind of
No,
big.
you like that spoon. She loves that spoon. She loves this, and she wanted everybody to see. I got the spoon.
It
I got
keeps
the
me.
spoon.
It
So,
keeps
but you know what?
Okay.
Let me. There's somebody that just popped on that I haven't seen in a while, and I missed, and that's Charmaine. Charmaine, it's good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. I can't now that I Okay, so you're gonna come on the show and talk about it, right, Miss Adrian? I mean, my daughter, Miss Adrian.
Hey
she
cousin.
dropping stuff in there now. Don't let them two get started. But I want to say good morning to Alfreda and Pastor Jackie and Wanda. We miss you, Doreen. I want to say good morning to Michelle, and the girl said, "Hey, cousins."
Hey
And
cousin.
um, anybody else that's on that, hey, Posh, Posh done woke up. Oh,
Posh
that's a
on here.
miracle. Posh is
Hey
in the
Posh.
house. Anna, how are you? So we got Brooklyn in the house. We got Cali in the house. We got the UK in the house. We got Philly in the house. We got Jersey in the house. We cooking with gas today. Thank you, all of you, for
We
being here. For
worldwide.
real, for real. I like to be silly, so don't pay me any mind. So I just wanted to kind of throw that in there, that I understand the teaching, that made her feel better. Leslie, how are you? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Listen, I'm just kind of rattling, I guess. I don't know. But let me tell you for a minute. Let me just stop for a minute and say, I need you to like, share, and subscribe. I need you to do that for me. I would appreciate it so much. If you have not hit that subscribe button to know when we come on, please do so. If you have not hit the like button, please do so. And if you're not sharing it, I pray that you would share it with somebody. This is going to be a good one, as always. And I'm just thankful, because it's not me, but it's Yahweh, and He always has His way. So, yeah, I grew up in a military home. Everything that was done, I had to forgive my father. And when I called him one day and I said, Daddy, I had gotten saved and learned about forgiveness. I said, I forgive you. And Marquise is training you well. Yes, Marquise has trained me well. Yes. And yes, and hit the love sign. Thank you. The love. Yes. I had to forgive my father, and I remember calling him and saying, Daddy, I forgive you. Because it was when he left, when him and my mom separated, he just left. He abandoned us. He abandoned us. Somebody told me where it was. I went and found him. He started coming back around. But I had to call him and say, I forgive you, now that I'm fine about forgiveness. And then he called my sisters and brothers and said, something wrong with your sister. I need y'all to keep an eye on her. I don't know, she about to kill herself or what? Because he didn't understand. So that was the funniest thing. And my brother called me. He says, everything all right? I was like, yeah, why? He said, Daddy says something's wrong. I said, nothing's wrong. I just called and asked him to forgive me. I told him I forgive him for, just his part as well as my part. So, forgiveness goes a long way. Parents, children, co-workers, it goes a long way. Sometimes we like to just keep it in our one little box. Hey, Nye, my niece is on from Sweden. Look, we got Sweden in the house today. Hey, Nye. So, yeah, we can't just have our own little box what we think forgiveness is. Forgiveness, like you said, is broad. Forgiveness covers every aspect of our lives. And I'm about to say something. Somebody's going to say, yeah, right. But forgiveness, sometimes you got to forgive yourself for the things you think, or you hate your home. You hate what God has given you. He has blessed you with something and you hate that. You gotta forgive for those things as well. You gotta ask Him to forgive you, because what it does is it stops the flow, stops things from flowing, because He begins to see that as a negative point. He begins to see, He's not going to let something flow if you don't appreciate what you have already. And a lot of times we live outside of that box, not realizing, let's just start appreciating. No matter what it looks like, He says, in everything give thanks. You can't give thanks and not have forgiveness. You can give thanks, but to be totally right or to be totally healed, you got to have some forgiveness wrapped around that, or you're just verbally saying thank you because that's the thing to do. Nope, we're time out for that. We're not doing that anymore. We're coming correct. We're going to come the way we're supposed to come. We're going to come the way the Word tells us to come, that we can have an abundant life. We had to understand what an abundant life is. And if you don't spend time in that Word, if you don't spend time in a relationship with the Father, because forgiveness is a relationship.
Yes.
Whether you believe it or not, it's a relationship. Forgiveness is tied to so many things. So if you're not forgiven, you got a whole lot going on in your life that you have not dealt with, and it's eating you up inside, and things are manifesting hate, and it goes from hate to want to murder. There's just so many aspects of unforgiveness that's in that relationship. So you can have either a healthy relationship with forgiveness, or you can have an unhealthy relationship. The choice is yours. I know for me, I can't do it anymore.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I can't afford it. I cannot do it. And my life depends on wholeness. And forgiveness is a part of that wholeness. So I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna stop now because I'm on a little roll right here, and I'm gonna let y'all say something.
I love your story that you talked about with your dad. Mine kind of mirrored that because my dad was also in the military, and that's how he ran the home. And I remember as a child just hating it. Oh my gosh, I hated it so much.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I hated my dad. I hated him, especially in my teen years, because I thought he was just too hard. I thought he was too hard. And I remember
That's right.
going through my journey of healing for myself, and um, that's where I uncovered um, a lot of a lot of assumptions that I had, and the picture that I painted surrounding my dad. And I remember when I asked him to meet with me so I can ask for forgiveness for the part that I played, and it was it was really a freeing experience. But what I was just thinking about here, and I said, my dad didn't even have to ask for forgiveness for the part that he played. And I say that because um, he didn't do anything wrong. He really didn't do anything wrong. And I was so humbled, like in a state of humbleness for trying to fit him in this box that I thought he should have been in,
Yeah.
that there was no forgiveness needed on his part. And um and I love our relationship that we have today. Like the man he was then and the man he is now is like it's night and day. And
Yeah.
I was like, where was this guy? Where was this guy?
That's God. That is God.
But yeah, Rick said that is God, and I believe that God changes hearts.
He
Um,
does.
he's a heart changer, and
Yes. Heart regulated. Okay, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Go ahead, Auntie. Okay, I'm sorry.
She's
I'm going to give him the
she's
spoon.
passing the spoon, y'all. I know this is a first. Y'all get it. Y'all take a picture of this now. Rick's got it in his hand. So
I'm about to.
uh, y'all go click up. So one of the things that what I just heard Tiff say, and we've talked about this before, is that I'm a lot like her father, which is funny because I'm the version that
It's not
she's seeing
funny.
now. No, it's not funny,
No,
but
no, I don't mean like
similarities,
that.
but
That's usually how we marry. That's what I
Mhm.
mean.
Yeah, and the similarities, and I saw that early on before we even got married, that I saw a lot of myself in him, and vice versa. And the thing was, we connected, and I tell this story all the time to the family. I remember when I went to ask for Tiff's hand in marriage, and before I even got the words out, he was saying yes. And Dad is not a expressive person.
He was smiling.
He
My
was
father never
smiling,
smiled. Like
and I mean all of that. I was like, so
Did you take a second thought?
no, well, I always joke with my in-laws about I still got the receipt and I
You
can
still got
return
the
it
receipt.
anytime. But they always tell me I'm gonna have to pay some money now because
You bring it back.
of the
But
wear
wait,
and tear. Yeah.
wait,
So
go to the nut. What happened with the nuts?
oh yeah. Yeah. So in 2007, I found out that I was allergic to nuts, but then I married her anyway. So when we talk about 10 years, when we talk about 10 years of HEW, that is the experience and the lessons that we have to go through to get through. And you said a lot of things, but you said two things that really was points for me was instructions and wholeness. So the journey that I've been on over the last 6 years and in the managing mode,
We need a timeout. We need a timeout.
She may need a timeout, but she's good. She's good. I'm used to talking through this. So
Oh my God. So why wait a minute. Let me just say, hey Reese. Reese's in the house. I'm so glad to have you. We're gonna talk soon, Reese. Go ahead.
but no, so the wholeness for the whole part for me has been the inner work that I've had to do.
Listen, y'all, she's laughing because she loves that. Every time he says it, she loves that.
I'm so sorry, y'all. Oh my God.
Wanda said, Tiff, take the spoon. Take the
Oh. If y'all see what happens on camera, y'all need to be behind the camera because we be laughing.
She said, throw the spoon out the window, out the door.
I love that so much.
I know. She loves that little saying so much. That's why I had him say it.
Just in case y'all don't know where it came from, plug.
How you gonna be plugging on her show?
That's where it came from.
Well, don't plug without telling them what it is.
Oh yeah. So this is the result of
looking like
me being allergic to nuts is no nuts. It's a product that it's actually a product of love that Tiff and I came up with over 6 years ago. And what it did was it helped me to be able to have something, a healthy snack, to be able to get through these times. So, when...
Let me see that.
Oh, here you
go. Didn't plug it right.
I didn't plug it right? Oh, I'm sorry.
Give me the bigger bag.
See, she get ready to manage it now. So, here you go. Then that's when I don't mind the manage part.
But you know what, y'all? I want y'all to know she do the same thing with me, okay? I'm like, Tiff, I got this.
I say right,
auntie. Nope, we're not talking about this.
I'm not messing with. I'm not messing with Big. I'm not messing. No. I stay right over in my lane.
Wanda said I wake up and eat them in my sleep.
Oh, most definitely.
So you guys, we actually have a trail mix. It's called Team Child's No Nut Energy Mix. We will put the link on the in the thing a little later
in the chat.
But yes, it's a healthy whole food snack that you can also use as a topper. You can put on your salads, your yogurts, your ice cream. You can bake with it and all of the things. But yes, this is Team Child's No Nut Energy Mix. It comes in two sizes as of right now, where everyone is asking for larger sizes, so we are working on that as well. But yes, that's where the no nuts energy mix comes from, and that's the plug Rick uses when we're talking to people. He was like, "Yeah,
when we're out,
I'm allergic to nuts, but I'm married."
Hopefully, no one took offense to that because y'all saw how Tiff broke up over it. So it's just something that one of the things I realized for us because of the forgiveness, how we flow together. So one of the things that I understood that God gives us instructions. So everybody in the chat, please put in the chat, when you get something, do you follow the instructions? Whether it's electronics, whether it's something that has an instruction book, just put in the chat, do you follow the instructions or do you just put it together?
I follow them.
You follow them?
I don't always follow them.
Okay. So one of the things that I saw earlier on as a child, for me, say for instance, like Christmas, I would get a toy and I'd put it together right away. I wouldn't read the instructions, but then I'd have a piece left.
See.
Something left, but it worked. but it didn't work to its fullest. And that's what we have to understand. God gives us instructions and we got to follow it to the T. If we don't follow it to the T, the things that we do, how we move, how we live, isn't going to be to the fullest. Our instructions have no cut in it. It has to be what he says it needs to be. So when he says forgiveness, he means forgiveness for everything and for everybody. So
Right.
again, like I said, you're not asking for forgiveness within your circle, but for the people outside of your circle. And we have to understand that when we don't do that, then are we going to be blessed? Are we going to be covered? Are we going to be forgiven when it is time for us to leave this home? So keep that in mind to drive you and get you to that place. Because trust me, when we go to the Father, he don't want to see no spoon. He wants you to talk to him straight up.
That's
He
right.
want he because he already knows what you're gonna say before you even say it. So what we do here is so important. What we do with each other is so important because again, like I said, when I go to Tiff from this point on, I'm asking for forgiveness because I see the God in her, because I know that's what God instructed me to do, because he forgave us.
But even if you don't see the God in me, you still have to ask for that forgiveness.
Well, and she has and to be honest with you, Tiff has a forgiveness style or apology style.
It's apology style.
Apology style. It's 5 of them.
Yes.
Y'all see how she knows 5 of them, and it's a script. You know, it's a script. I can't just say I'm sorry. I can't just say forgive me. What would you tell me the other day when I said ask for forgiveness? Or did you forgive? Oh, I know. I said, did you forgive me? And what did you tell me?
Well, for me, this is just my personal choice. I would prefer that you don't ask me to forgive you. Like, Tiff, can you forgive me in that space? Because I may not.
I was gonna say, hold up.
Because-
You mean, were we
Because-
frozen? But
no,
I know
like-
I wasn't frozen, but she was frozen. I don't know.
So, honestly, sometimes it doesn't come immediately. And I would just prefer you to just apologize for the said thing and not to put, can you forgive me on the end? That's just my preference. That's just my preference.
Yeah, and I understand. So, was that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. That. Let me have that. Oh, I forgot. What we plug in.
Get lemon
Sponsored by Mason Jar. Lemon, green tea. Don't drink this at night, y'all, because you'll be up all night. But this is something I drink a lot in the morning. So it's green tea, no sugar, lemon and water, alkaline water. Just need to plug that in there. So, but y'all, I apologize, y'all. Let me stay on point. So, and see, this is and then another thing. That's why I love this discussion, because one of the other things that when we talk about forgiveness, that is different for Tiff and different for myself because of our temperaments. Me being an introvert, and y'all are gonna probably get tired of hearing it, but guess what? I'm an introvert. So one of the things is we internalize everything. We keep everything, whether we even if we say we forgive or we accept your apology, it's still here. And we probably have gone through every scenario imaginable. Sometimes I believe I've already talked to Tiff about something because I done already talked and went through that scenario in my head, and I'm talking to her. And that's why sometimes I get frustrated when she comes to me, because I am in my head and I'm doing a lot of things.
We're not
And she'll
laughing
come
at
to me with rapid fire. You know what I mean? She'll come with me with she'll come in. Anybody in the chat know Tiff will hit you with 1,001 questions in 1 minute. And if you're an introvert, that's like adding another 1,000 on top of the 1,000 you already got in your head that you're going through. So she's learned to come to me, whether it's here at home or if she's out and about, she'll ask me, is it a good time? I love that. That's what forgiveness, that's what becoming one, that's what dropping off those layers of things that is not what our marriage needs or what our relationship needs. And for her to ask me that I mean, what it tells me is that she's paying attention. She understands me. She's giving me the grace to be able to say, I don't. Give me a minute. Give me a minute
Just 60 seconds.
or 60 seconds.
Look, I tell her she get on the roll. I'll be like, you got 5 more minutes, and then Posh be like, two questions, because
Yeah,
this
yeah.
girl right here.
Question minimum.
And it's really funny because I love to talk. So if I do call you, sometimes I say, okay, how much time I have?
She
Yeah.
loves to
Your
talk.
girl can talk. I promise you I can.
I
Mhm.
promise you, she can.
Oh, and I've learned to talk because she can talk, and that's another thing. For me to be able to navigate into the extroverted side of my temperament is because I've watched Tiff. I've watched how she flows. But see, don't get this wrong. When you learn and start doing that, you got to be able to have control with it. Because I know some extroverts that are off. I know some introverts that are off. You got to have control with it. So I'm able to navigate through my temperaments when need be. So for me to be able to show up, like I said, 6 years ago, 15 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to stand right here or sit right here in front of the screen and talk to people. When we did the Vegan Soul Fest, one of the things that I challenged myself was I did all this work behind a camera or in front of a camera, being an extrovert. But doing it in person was going to be the thing that I really wanted to see. Because you can be at work and you can talk to people and they know you. But to talk to people that don't know you, but see you. And one of the common things that they said about when they came to our booth was our energy. Tiff and I's energy. Our energy is what we worked so long to have. It's inviting. It's funny. It's what we have been able to do to become one. And we were, you hear Team Childs, and everything we say has a story or a journey behind it. So when we talk about team, that's what we was that weekend. I was passing the ball and she was catching it. It was a team effort and we flowed. It wasn't a glitch. It wasn't a situation where, and I say all these things, y'all, because that's where forgiveness comes. Because like we said, 10 years of maneuvering, 10 years of hell, 10 years of going through, 10 years of reworking and understanding each other allows us to be able to sit here right now and say, I'm Rick.
And I'm Tiff.
And we're Team Childs. That allows us to be able to do that each and every day. And even when we do it, it's like I said, it's like a synergy. It's something that brings us together, but has so much meaning. So, I mean, I know I didn't have the mic or the spoon, but go ahead.
Yeah, the mic.
I'm gonna take the mic this time.
Yeah.
What I want to say,
Wait. Didn't you just say you didn't have it?
I
Yeah.
had it.
Oh, she had it.
But she's gonna take it this time though. But she had it the whole time.
So this is.
So let me wait before you do that. CMB 901, welcome, and I want to say welcome to Renee. She said she loves you guys, so I
We love
just
you
want to
too.
put that plug in there before you continue.
What I wanted to say was that you all are seeing the other side of forgiveness. So, and I say that because there is hope. Because when you put God in it, like God is doing something miraculous on the inside of the other person. So I had to learn how to take the focus off of Rick and all of the wrong that I thought he was doing. And I really had to really focus in on myself. And it's so important to wrap your mind around you aren't always right. Tiffany isn't always right. One of the things that I shared with Rick yesterday, and I said one of the most courageous things that I had to do for myself along my journey was turn the mirror and really look at what was looking back at me. And I say what because I was unrecognizable. Um, I was distorted. I was like all of the what I didn't want to be. And I had to make a decision. Do I stay the person or the thing? I wouldn't even call it a person. Do I stay the thing that was looking back at me, or do I create like like Katrina says, beautiful? Do I create this space that my heart desires? Life is literally what you make it. It's literally what you make it.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
is.
it's literally that simple. We can make it hard if we want to make it hard, but life is what we make it. So if you want to have a beautiful day today, you can have a beautiful
That's
day
your
today.
choice.
You can't blame nothing that happens in your space on anybody else. Let me say, you can't blame your reaction to what happens on anybody else but yourself.
And
And
that's a good point. Before you go any further, two things you said. One that is vitally important is that you had to look at yourself. And like I always say, you got one pointing that way, three pointing back at you. And a lot of times unforgiveness comes because we don't search our own hearts. Only thing we see is what's in front of us. And that's what the other person has done to us.
Mhm.
And because they have done this to us, it puts us in a spiral, and it causes us not to come out. When we come out, we're dizzy. How about if I put it that way? Because we don't connect the dots. It starts with us first. People, and I want to say this right, people cannot offend us. They cannot put us in a place of unforgiveness. It's a choice we have to make. It's a choice we have to make because we are choosing to either let it go. Sometimes what they've done is really not that big. You ever had something that you blew out of proportion, and when you take time to sit back and think about it, it was like, that really wasn't all that. A lot of times it's things in unforgiveness that's really not that big, but because of our insecurities, our defensiveness, everything everybody says, we just blow it out of proportion. So sometimes we need to really regroup, sit down, look at ourselves, see if what we need to balance and see if what we're saying is worth unforgiveness, really worth unforgiveness. You ever had a friend that you didn't forgive and all of a sudden y'all came back together and you're like, I'm so sorry, it wasn't even worth this? There's a lot of things in our lives that is not worth unforgiveness, but it's a choice that we make. We can choose to live a healthy life or live an unhealthy life by taking everything everybody says and putting it in one box, and you just don't forgive anybody. There's people out there, it don't matter who you are, they're not forgiving you. They just add that to their box. They just pile things on top of pile things. And it's really not, it's you that needs to look inside yourself and see what makes you have a spirit, because that becomes a spirit of
Mhm.
unforgiveness. It's deeper than just you saying out your mouth, you don't forgive. You've come into covenant with unforgiveness. You come into a relationship with unforgiveness, and it takes over
Mm.
until you address it.
Oh, can I jump in?
I want to say something as well, but I'll
Okay,
let you
good.
jump.
Yeah, give him the spoon. He can talk.
So, the other thing, because we're talking about the spiritual component of forgiveness, but the thing you have to realize when you're holding and carrying things, the mental and the physical,
Man, give me some.
the mental
Give me
and
some.
the physical, hey, The mental and the
He's
physical.
in line with what I was gonna say.
The
Oh my
mental
gosh.
and the physical. Let me say it again. The mental and the physical that's going to wear you down. So if it's over a period of time that you're carrying something, and we've talked on shows before, and we also shared it with Minister Wanda, was that when you're carrying that luggage into a new day, when you're carrying things of unforgiveness, when you're carrying things that causes you to avoid a person, that's physical. That ain't just spiritual and mental, that's physical. And over time, some of our illnesses can
Stress.
definitely be tied to that. Can definitely be tied to that. And one last thing before I pass it back over to Tiff was, and this just came to me. So when we're pointing that finger at someone else, we got three fingers pointing back at us. Remember,
Right.
you got the thumb pointing up. It's pointing at
Mm.
God. And this finger right here, your thumb, can touch all the other fingers.
Man, shut up, man.
Can touch all the other fingers. So remember when you pointing that finger, okay? Remember that. Here you go, baby. I passed the spoon.
That's what I'm talking about. That's,
That's
what
what
I'm
I'm
talking
talking
about. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right.
Teamwork.
Oh my
Teamwork
God.
Right. Team child.
makes the dream work.
Right. Teach, empower, assist, and motivate.
All right now.
Teach, empower, assist, and motivate.
Say it with your chest.
Ooh. Teach, empower, and motivate.
See why I love these two.
But what
Maybe in their own little world.
Oh,
what I wanted to add is forgiveness is really self-care and self-love. Love yourself enough to do the work with forgiveness, because if you don't play around with it, it's going to show up in your body. It's just that serious.
Yeah.
It's going to show up in your body. It's like rust.
It's like a tree. It grow branches.
It does grow branches.
definitely.
But when I was sitting here, rust came to mind because I think everyone can kind of put their mind on what rust is. And if rust, like rust on a car, if it's not rust proof, that's the physical term of what it's called, rust proof. And so you go and buy these cars and you purchase these cars, they have to go through on the assembly line. They have to rust proof the car, and they pretty much spray it with a protectant.
And Coke ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
Coke ain't gonna work for
Right.
us. Well, it might work, but I don't know about getting rid of the unforgiveness. It's gonna get rid of that rust, but the unforgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
you can't use the Coke.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it's like cancer to the car. It will literally eat it away.
Yeah.
You get rust on a car and don't touch it and don't put a protectant on it, it will eat a hole through the car.
Yes.
It will spread, just like branches on a tree, just like roots on a tree. It will spread throughout. So forgiveness is nothing to deal with. Love yourself enough
To want.
to want to deal with it. Love
Yeah.
yourself enough to not let that rust or that cancer or those branches attach to yourself.
So can I add this into that? Because what you're saying is so true. And it might hurt, but I think I would rather for it to hurt with me getting rid of it
Mhm.
than with me holding on to it. Because when you let that unforgiveness come in, it begins with stress and it just takes over. And all these other branches, or as you said, the rush just makes cancer spread. And if you've never seen a car, you don't see it that much anymore like you used to. Some people would have their car would have cancer all over it, or brown spots all over it, because that rust took over. Well, that's what happens on the inside of us. And I was thinking about something Alicia had said. She had said unforgiveness blocks what's on the inside of you, the reality of
Yeah.
who you are, the realness of who you are. Do you know that when we allow these things to take over us, that's what people see. They see the pain, they see the hurt, they see the disappointment, they hear it, they sense it. But when you release it, the only thing they can see and feel is the peace of God that passes all understanding that lives on the inside of you. Hallelujah. So it's vitally important. This is a good topic. And I talked back with you guys about the heart, the brain, and the kidneys, and how they all play a part in our insides, and how that forgiveness is the same thing. That forgiveness is like the heart. It pumps, it keeps the liver flowing, it keeps it keeps detox, and the brain, it keeps the brain from getting cloudy and clouded, and it keeps Alzheimer's, and what's the other one,
Dementia.
from dementia from getting in. Do you know that this is Leslie's study? I'm about to say we about to close out, but do you know that what I would do is that when somebody had dementia, I would ask somebody in their family what was their trauma,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what tragically happened to them that they never got free of. Unforgiveness is the same thing. It's a tragedy. And why does it become a tragedy? Because we hold on to it so long, it begins to rule our lives. It breaks you down. You don't have enough minerals in your body, which means you don't have enough of the word in you. You don't have enough of the Elohim in you. You don't have enough of the compliance to his word in you. You don't have enough in you to overtake and allow that stony heart. You got a stony heart when forgiveness is ruling. I mean, unforgiveness is ruling, but he wants to make it soft. You got to be willing to let go of the things, because guess what? If it happened an hour ago, if it happened yesterday, if it happened years ago, guess where it's at? In the past.
Mm-hmm.
That's something in the past. What does it say about living in the past? The past gives you it's stress, the future is anxiety, and the present is peace.
Mm-hmm.
You got to live in your day today, and you got to relinquish those things from past, and most of them you can't do anything about anyway. Some of the people have gone on. Some of the people, you have no idea where they are. And in your mind, if I ever run into them, I wouldn't speak to them again. That's too long. It's too long to hold on to something. So if you're holding on to something that happened an hour ago, it's too long. You got to let it go. Yes, I understand that it takes time for that forgiveness to get inside and really take over, but you got to start somewhere, and you got to start with the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there's anything else. I know there's something else you guys would like to say. I really appreciate you being here today, and yeah, I can keep going, but
Uh, no, I just want to say that we truly appreciate the opportunity to be able to share our journey and share our story, because one of the things that you said earlier about pain was that our therapist, who we've had for a number of years, uh, said something to me that has resonated with me for the longest, that iron sharpens iron, and sometimes that hurts. And for Tiff and I, we're sharpening each other, and sometimes that hurts. You know, we go through the process together, and we live and we learn. And we're enjoying life doing that. You know, there's days that even though you can see us smile, and I can look at her, you know, and see, you know, see that spiritual sexy in her, and then there's days I don't even want to look at her. You know what I mean? So don't get me wrong, y'all. There's a positive and a negative to being
yes,
child's is. And understanding who you are is so important. So as I look in the chat, shout out to all my introverts. Stay tuned, because there's a work in you, and I'm even for extroverts, because you can learn. We can learn from each other, because, like I said, all these temperaments that you may see me talk about and exhibit are things that are going to allow you to become whole.
I got to figure out what I am.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, and let me say this, let me do the disclaimer. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist. I'm just
No.
someone who has gone through and has learned with the tools how to do what's best and to be able to be the best version of who God created you, because that's all I'm trying to do, is be the best version of who God created me to be, and to serve for no tips. So my flamingo queen has the spoon. She had said something she wants to say.
We all have 4 temperaments that we
Mhm.
flow in. We just have some dominant ones.
Yeah.
And Rick has done a really amazing job at flowing through all of them. I'm still learning how to put my flamingo dance on. 'Cause I'm still learning to harmonize with mine
Yeah.
and flow in each of them when need to be. So I'm still a work in progress. But I love how Rick has really, I'm gonna say, mastered how to flow in between the 4. Um, so we all have 4 temperaments. It's just we have some dominant ones that you normally see, and we really do look like our temperaments. That's how you kind of know, like our bodies kind of move and
I
all.
guess I'm an introvert then.
Yeah. I probably I
I've
would
seen you flowing a
probably
whole lot of them. I see your
the
lion
same.
more so than anything.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
that lion more so than
Yeah.
anything.
And you've said it so many times that people look at you and say that they know you're going to handle it, you're going to take care of it. And the first thing came to mind when you said you went and looked for your father, the Equalizer came to mind. We just saw that. I was like, she running people down. I'm like, how many people? I mean, how many people
Look,
do that? She's like,
look,
she's running folks down.
look, big legs. I'm telling you. Look at her in her
Hey,
chair over there.
hey,
Lean back,
running
lean back.
thing. When she
Look,
lean up into
don't
the
y'all mess
camera,
with that one right
yeah,
there.
right there. That's what I'm saying.
She the female version of the
right.
Equalizer.
She told us to come on and be prayer warriors. And it wasn't a question. Usually y'all gonna be the prayer warriors and y'all
She
gonna
said,
do it.
"Listen, y'all best show up." I was like, "Okay."
They just having a good time. Do not pay them any
No,
money.
believe all these words coming out of my mouth. That one
Right.
right to say, "Now let me stop, y'all." I'm just joking.
That's all, and it's all love.
A little bit. I'm just joking a
All
little
love.
bit. Just a little bit. But that one, listen, don't y'all mess with, listen, that y'all better stay on her good side. I don't want no smoke. Allegedly say, no. Okay. All jokes aside. Yes, Posh, my boss.
Yeah.
I thought she went to sleep. She's still on here chatting.
Mhm.
Well, thank you, you guys. If you don't have anything else to say, for real, we'll. This was a joy, and I like to have fun, and we had fun. But when we get off the screen, we're gonna have some more fun.
Oh, all right, I'll see you later.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for being here. This week, Thursday, I'll have Leslie Bonds on, the CEO of your household, helping you get things in order. So I'm excited about that. I have some exciting guests coming up, but I appreciate you guys being here. You know that you're all my can't call you my backup. No, I can't. But yeah, because if it's a time I can't come on, I promise you, I'm calling y'all. I need y'all to take the show. I can't do it today, so be ye also ready. But I thank God for that. I'm waiting. We're going to have, and our challenge of is not over because I'm listening at myself. So we will be having Minister. Minister Wanda and Rick coming on talking about how to manage your beard soon. And I thought about this, Rick, but I'm going to go. Uh, we need to do a show with you cooking, showing them how to do something in the deep fryer. So we're going to do that one either on a Thursday or Friday. We have Tiff and Cam coming up. There's some other people coming up as well. I have Anna coming up, and she's going to help us organize our health papers and things like that. We have some things going on. So until we meet again, next Sunday, the pastors will be back.
Yay.
So they'll be back talking
Part
with
two.
us. I'm excited about that. So please, I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Until we meet again, have an amazing day. And just remember, your heart is your lifeline.
Yes.
I love you. Stay safe.